Hey everyone, hope you're doing well today. My name is Nate. Thank you for joining. Today we're going to learn how to reverse dye using a product called OUT White Brite, also known as OWB on some of the tie-dye pages. And so what this is a laundry whitening product. And once this came out, somebody figured out that when you add this to hot water, and then put it on some clothes, it will bleach clothes. So this is a great alternative to bleach clothes without actually using bleach. This is very inexpensive as well. You can get this for around $5 to $6 at the store, and it's a powder, so quite a bit comes in this. I know it looks like a liquid. A lot of people think this comes in a liquid, but this is a powder. And the same company also has another product called Iron Out. It is the exact same thing. They both work the same. So back here on the back, the main products right here where it says contains products, if you get one of these. So the main products that this contains is sodium metabosulfite, sodium hydrosulfite, and sodium carbonate. So that last one is soda ash. And then the first two are the two ingredients that cause the shirt to lighten. So they are a sulfur-based, this is a sulfur-based product. So it does stink. It has a rotten egg smell to it. It also has a kind of a fresh laundry scent to it at the same time. It's kind of weird, but it does stink. You're going to want to do this outside. So once we get to this, we are actually going to be taking this outside. There are a few different ways to apply this too. You can apply it while it is still in the powdered form and then put water over the top of it. Or you can mix with the water and then dunk it inside. Or you can mix with the water and then pour that water over it. But any of those will work. So we're going to be tying, I have two shirts tied already. I'm going to be tying one more. So I did tie some spirals here. And so we're going to be going over the different methods to apply the OUT White Brite. So we're going to be taking just a plain black cotton shirt. It must be cotton. And then some of the colors, if you're wanting to use other colors, not every color reverses. And there is even the possibility that one of these shirts may not reverse. So sometimes the manufacturers, they will use a dye that this product is not effective on at all. This also does not work on polyester either. So you need to have cotton. Some of the other cellulose fibers will work, but you're going to have to test that out. So we're going over 100% cotton and with a black t-shirt. So now we're going to go tie this shirt, and then we're going to get to dyeing all of them, or reversing all of them, I should say. There's some construction going on, so hopefully it's not too loud and you can't hear it. So right here I've got my little container here to boil water. We're going to be running propane to heat this up. I don't have any water in it just yet. I do need to clean this out a little bit, but so I've got two shirts here already tied, and then we're going to come through and we're going to take third shirt and tie a spiral with this. So I always turn my shirts inside out first before I tie them. And usually I wash all my shirts first, but whenever I do the reverse dyes, I actually do not wash these shirts first. These are brand new shirts. This is a laundry product. I am going to be washing this again. I'm not worried about this sticking to it like we are with dye. This works pretty well without having to wash the shirt. And so it's a little bit easier, a little bit quicker. All right, so we got our shirt laid out, making sure all our wrinkles are out. Now, I do have another video going over this if you need to see really how to make a spiral. Spirals are fairly simple. You just find your middle point here for your spiral, and then we're going to twist it up. So there's a whole bunch of different patterns that can work with this. You don't have to do a spiral. I'm just doing the spiral for this so that I can make all three of these so that you can see the difference in this. So one of these, I'm going to put powder on it, and then I'm going to pour hot water over it and let it seep in. And then the next one, we are going to mix the powder into the boiling water, and then we're going to dunk one into it. And then the one after that, we're going to take some of that water in there, and we're just going to pour it directly onto a shirt. That way you can see the three main ways to use this product. Is they all have different looks to them, so it's really going to be a preference over to what style you want. I find it easiest to just boil the water, stick it in there, and then dunk stuff in. But sometimes you got to hold it while doing that, or you have to let it sit in there for a while. And not every tie does well for sitting in there. So if you have like kind of a loose tie, so if you have a loose tie, this will penetrate into the shirt, and you're just going to bleach the whole thing out. So you're going to have to be careful with that. And if you have a bunch of really tight ties on it, those tight ties, you can leave in there a little bit longer because it's going to take a while for it to get into it. So it's just kind of going to be based off of what design you make. And like with the spiral, with what we've got here, these won't be able to sit in there very long. These are not what I consider a tight tie. They have some snugness, but you can pull them apart. So if you were to just let it sit in there, by the time you pull it out, there may not be any black left at all on this. All right, so now we've got our shirts tied. Let's rinse this out. Okay. I haven't used this in a little while, so there is some dirt in here. Just want to get that out. We really don't want a whole lot of water, so I'll let you see what's in here in a minute. That's probably all I want. So I'm going to go turn this water off real quick before it gets too tall in there. Looks like it just spit itself out too, so cool. Okay. Yeah, that looks good right there. Let's see about how much water I got in here. Okay, we're going to get propane going here. Alright, so we're going to let that heat up until it is boiling. So that could take a few minutes. I got quite a bit of water in this, so I'm actually going to empty, well, so let's see. Yeah, I'm going to empty out a little bit because I don't need this much. And there we go. That looks like my flame just went out. Yeah, my flame just went out from the wind. Let that sit for just a second. Okay. Okay. Got that relit. So if you're using propane, be careful. Make sure you know what you're doing. It's windy out here. I'm actually surprised that it put out that flame. This thing puts out a pretty decent flame. So we're gonna let this sit until it boils. All right, so our water is ready to go here. I don't know if you can see the steam coming out of it. So what we're gonna do, it's almost ready, but it's close enough. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take some of this powder here. And depending on what kind of pattern you want to do, whether you want to do like the whole thing or just part of it, that's going to be how you put your powder on. So you don't actually have to like cover the whole thing. You can just do like little portions of it. If you have any kind of dust mask, I would recommend wearing it with this just so that you don't breathe it in. I typically do, but I'm not able to talk with the mask on really. It just kind of muffles everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting powder on every other one here and not putting a whole lot because I'm going to flip this one over and put some on the other side too. Okay, so now we got that. And come over here and grab some of this water. Yep, it is boiling, so be careful. I haven't let this glass warm up yet, so we're just going to do a okay. There we go. So you don't want to put a whole lot on at a time, just a little bit at a time. That way it actually like dissolves. It's going to foam up too. And if you have like a sprayer works really well for this. I have my sprayer, but I'm only doing this one and it holds quite a bit. So, whoop. You can see that just kind of took off on me, but it's okay. This is tie-dye here. We're not getting perfect. As you can see, it's starting to lighten up here as I add more hot water. I may need to add more OUT White Brite. We'll see. Just really depends on what color effect you're going for. This one you'll probably get the most differences in in the dilution or in the reversing. So as you can see how it's still like brownish, where when we dunk one of them in there after we put some in, it's gonna change color instantly. It's gonna get super light. With this not being quite as hot, so I'm gonna put a little bit more. Just like this, right back in those same spots. There we go. I'm gonna do this one more time on this side. See if we can get this to lighten up a little bit more. Just a little bit. Move on, let it sit. So you can see I don't have the best control with this method. Some methods work better than others. So that's why I'm going to show you multiples. This one is not my favorite. I hear this going pretty good, so I'm going to turn this down real quick. But not off. But There we go. That should be good temperature there. Okay. So we'll finish this up over here. You can see it's starting to lighten up more. That bled quite a bit, but whatever. It's okay. I like the organic fluidity of tie-dye. It's, there are some designs where it's like, all right, we got to get this perfect. So you work on it to make sure that it is perfect. And then there are designs where it's like, well, let's just see what this method produces. And that is what we are doing right here for you. We're just going to see what this method produces. I have made quite a few in many different ways. I don't know if I've ever done it exactly this way. That's why I'm doing it this way, because I was like, let's do it different. It's like, I know what this is. I have dyed things this way. I don't know if they're actually reversed quite like this. I mean, I have with this style and method, just the exact pattern placement and everything. Not quite sure. Okay, so you see how we got here. So I'm good with that. It's down a bit. So we're just gonna let that sit for just a second. Make sure it's not too hot. Sometimes these can be pretty hot. So then we're gonna flip this over. And okay, so these are the ones that we had dye in before. I'm gonna remember that because we're gonna put dye, or we're gonna put some OUT White Brite on the opposite ones. So this is the one we did before from the other side. So now we're gonna go here on this side and just do every other section. The goal is to get enough on there to partially reverse. We want it to semi meet up with the other side, but not too much. If you put too much, you'll end up having just a reverse shirt. Oof. Just got a whiff of that. Stuff stinks. Just remember, try not to breathe it. And now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Try not to bleed too much. This one has more like ridges and mountains and valleys to it, where the other side is much smoother. Whenever you tie, the side that is down against the table always has a flatter edge to it. Where this side is usually the messier side. So like typically when I dye things, this side will get my color, and then I'll flip it over and put black on the other side so that my lines are cleaner. And I just make sure to put tons of color on this side so it meets up with the other side. There's just an unlimited ways of doing tie-dye. Even this, even reversing, even with the same pattern, you can put dye on in so many different ways and get so many different outcomes. It's like, okay, cool. Really is unlimited. Even if you're doing the same thing, there's an unlimited amount of ways to do the same thing different. Well, what does that mean? Well, you're gonna have to figure that one out for yourself there. Just do the same thing a whole bunch of different ways. Well, doesn't that mean they're different? Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. That's the fun thing. They're always different. Even when it's the same, it's still different. Okay, so we got a good amount right here. So this method is probably going to take the longest. The other ones, especially the dunking, that's going to be so quick. We're going to have that in there for like 30 seconds maybe. Sometimes, depending on what pattern you're doing, you can have it sitting there for like 5 up to 10 minutes. But the longer it sits in there, the lighter it gets, and the more it penetrates everything. So you have to be conscious about how far it goes in, how long it stays in. So this will continue to lighten a little bit. And then when we wash it, it will have its final color. And so you can actually, as soon as you feel like this is done, if you were good like this, if you're like, no, I don't want it to reverse anymore, it's getting too light too quick, hit it with the cold water, rinse it out, it's done. You are good. You can just rinse it out and put it straight into the washing machine after you're done rinsing. So rinse it with cold water. So that cold water stops the reaction from happening. And your goal is to rinse out all of that OUT White Brite. Get all of it out of there before you put it in the washing machine. So just let that. So rinse it with that cold water, get it all out. And then you can wash it. So we're going to let this sit right here. And I'm going to go ahead, move this over so we have room to set our other two shirts when they are done. Okay, so hopefully this is far enough back that it won't fog up as we do this with the steam coming out. But we're going to start adding some OUT White Brite in here. This is going to, oops, there goes bottle. Okay. This is going to boil up a little bit. It's going to create a big foam. So if you have like a small pot, be very careful. There's also another reason why I do this outside. Now, I did not think of grabbing something to stir, so I got just a plain stick that I just grabbed here. We're just going to give this a little stir, let this foam go down. Like the amount that you put in, I actually don't measure, I just dump some in. Because as you use it, some of it, like as it gets used, it gets spent. So if you're dyeing a whole bunch, or if you're reversing a whole bunch, you may have to continuously add to it as you're reversing some items. If you're only doing a little bit, just put, ow, splash me, just put a little bit, and then test your item. And if it's not doing what you want it to do, add a little bit more. And just keep going until it's what you want it to do. That way you can just kind of save some or use some. I know not everyone just wants to dump the whole thing in here and use it. And if you do that, you know, it's going to work really well. It's going to work really fast. The less that is in there, the slower that it'll work. The more that's in there, the faster it'll work. And there's a couple different ways to dunk this. So you can like hold the rubber bands and just go straight down, or you could hold halfway and just dunk half of it. You're going to get different results for either of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the rubber band, and I'm just going to let this kind of sit in here for a minute. And if it gets too hot, just go ahead and lift your hand out. But I'm not dunking it very far at all. I'm just barely sticking it in. If it gets too hot, you can lift your hand up. You can even kind of take a look, see if it's doing anything. So it's kind of. I may have to add more powder. Probably didn't put enough in here, but we'll see. Just kind of hold it here for a second. Find out. That's a little warm. Fingers are getting kind of hot from the steam. So we're going to take a look. I don't think I've got enough in here, so we're going to add some more. There we go. Hopefully that's enough. That's why you don't want to use too much water. Whoops. Use too much water, then you got to use a whole bunch of this, and it may not work if it's too diluted down. Let's see, is my shirt doing anything? It doesn't look like it. Hopefully this powder even still works. It's old. So I was using 2 different containers. 1 of them was 1 gallon, 1 of them was 1 gallon. So I was using 2 different containers. 1 of them was 1 gallon, 1 of them was 1 gallon. So I was using 2 different containers. 1 of them was 1 gallon, 1 of them was 1 gallon. So I was using 2 different containers. 1 of them was 1 gallon, 1 of them was 1 gallon. 1 of them was 1 gallon, 1 of them was 1 gallon. 1 of them was 1 gallon, 1 of them was 1 gallon. 1 of them was 1 gallon, 1 of them was 1 gallon. 1 of them was 1 gallon, 1 of them was 1 gallon. 1 of them was 1 gallon, 1 of them was 1 gallon. 1 of them was 1 gallon, 1 of them was 1 gallon. 1 of them was 1 gallon, 1 of them was 1 gallon. 1 of them was 1 gallon, 1 of them was 1 gallon. 1 of them was 1 So the last container had some that still worked. There's a little tiny bit left in it. We'll put it in there. Go ahead and stir that up. There we go. Now we're going to put that into it. See if it works this time. So either my mixture was not strong enough, or I have a shirt that won't reverse. It does happen sometimes. Just kind of one of those things. Even if you have a whole bunch of shirts from the same company and every single one of them reverses, sometimes you might get one that doesn't. So we'll take a look at this now. It should reverse now. Yeah, it's starting to reverse now. So I'm just gonna let that get in there a bit. Get absorbed, get some heat. Do not burn yourself while doing this. All right, let's take a look here. Kind of let that drip. We don't want that to drip on us. It must be where the flame is. There's some spots that have worked better than others. It must be where the heat's at on this thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have some old stuff. I bought this. It's been a good while since I used it. Definitely did not buy it this year. And we're starting to foam up right there. Wonder what the foaming is for. Whoop. Losing my balance on this. There we go. So this can take a few minutes sometimes. There's been times where I just put it in, it works instantly, but I'm pretty sure I was using too much there. Not trying to use the whole thing just on a single shirt. Ooh, that got a little hot. Yeah, so don't burn yourself doing this. I don't think that's gonna work. With how it's working, I can probably actually. We're just gonna let the whole thing go in there for a minute. Once we start seeing some color change, then I will pull it out. Yeah, if you have a real strong mixture, I wouldn't suggest doing this because you may end up losing all of your color. I've had that happen before. It's like hoping that this doesn't lose too much, but it does not look like this mixture is too strong. That was the rest of what I had, so we're just going to make do with it. First one seemed to work well. And this one, you can see where it's bubbling, so I got heat sources right here. Make sure it gets right over that heat. See those bubbles coming out from under it? This might be cool. Like sometimes with the light mixtures, if you have a light like this where it's not super concentrated and then leave it in for a while, we should get more variances in the color. Should. Not necessarily that we will, but that would be cool. Let's take a look here. Okay. So it looks like we have lost quite a bit of color. So I think we are good to set this over into the bin. So here's our first one. Here's the one that we just dunked. And this one, actually I'm going to do this. Get these further away. This one We're going to take this mixture that we got over here, and hopefully this is strong enough. This we will find out. This one's just going to go right over the top. You may need a stronger mixture for this. This may not be strong enough, but we're just going to use it and see what happens. That's the joy in experimenting with tie-dye. Sometimes you think something's going to happen, and then you go to do it, and something doesn't quite work out the way you thought it would. So we'll go ahead and kill the flame. We don't need that flame anymore. We're done with the boiling. This water is good and hot. So I'm going to be sure to pour a little bit more towards the outside than the inside. Move this tag out of the way. Yeah, with this mixture being as weak as it is, I definitely thought I had more of this OUT White Brite. I could just because it's old, honestly, because usually it doesn't take very much for it to work. It's like this one, I did not use very much on that first one, not at all. Is that off? Somehow the flame's still going. That's weird. See it boiling, even though I thought I shut it off, but it is off now. We're just going to keep on pouring this on. It doesn't look like it's doing much, so we'll just keep pouring it on until it does do something. Eventually enough will run through there. It does something. Sometimes these take a while. I do have sunglasses on, so maybe I'm just not seeing it with the glasses. But hey, that's how tie-dye goes sometimes. You win some, you lose some. So if nothing happens here, I don't know, I think I should just keep going anyway. We're just going to let whatever happen, happen. And just hope. I'm going to keep pouring this on there. Don't really have a whole lot of it left. Just let it soak in there slowly. So what we can do is take a look. Well, it is pretty hot. Honestly, I don't know if anything's happening to that one. Like this, you can see some has happened. But I may not have had quite a strong enough mixture. So what I'm going to do, ooh, that was hot. Take this. And I got it back into my solution for a minute. We're going to see if we have any strength left for this stuff to work. So as you can see, make sure you have enough of the OUT White Brite before you get going on this. one bottle should do quite a few shirts. So I honestly think I have an old batch. I'll probably be redoing this at some point. Okay, so that has sat. We're just gonna let that sit. Whatever happens, happens. All right, so for rinsing these, you're gonna wanna rinse it on cold water. Make sure it's cold. If you have hot water, you can accidentally reactivate the OUT White Brite, and you don't want that to happen. So we're just gonna come through here and we're gonna rinse these out with cold water. You can see that orange that comes off. That is the dye that has been stripped. It turns to that orange. Not quite a rust color. It's a little brighter than rust, but almost rust. So this was the first one that we did. So this one had the powder put directly on it. And then we put the hot water over that and let it seep. You see there's quite a bit of orange right here. So this one's going to have the most bleached pattern to it. As you see most of our colors coming out. Okay. This was our second one that we dipped in. And so after I started cleaning up, I did notice that the bottle that I used for these two, the cap, when I looked at the underside, was missing the seal. So the dye for these had been exposed to oxygen this whole time and possibly moisture. I don't know if moisture got in there or not, but it did make the batch not any good for these two. So a little bit has come out of this. As you can see, some colors coming out. I'm surprised there's that much. So we'll see how much it actually did once we open it up. But I'm going to get some more OUT White Brite. I'll do this again once I get this going again. I left everything at the shop, so I am able to easily record this again next time I'm up there. So once I get some more shirts and some more OUT White Brite, I'll record some of that. I'm also wanting to do some stuff with Jacquard decolorant as well. It works very similar, except it's a paste that you put on instead of a powder, and you put it on and then you iron it, and your pattern is revealed. Okay. Make sure to rinse real well. It's going to be a little different than like rinsing your tie-dye. So these are just going to go straight from here into the washing machine. I don't really need to soak these. So the OUT White Brite is already a laundry product, and it is totally okay to go into the washing machine. Its actual intended purpose is when you put a load of wash into the machine, you're supposed to put some OUT White Brite in with it, and as it washes, it lightens your clothes. So you can even like bleach clothes in the washing machine if you know how to keep them from coming unraveled while you're washing them. Okay. So now we're going to open these up. We'll go ahead and go backwards. So the last one that we dyed, I'll open this one up first, just because this one seems to have the least amount of pattern to it, and we will see if it has any at all. I can kind of see some. I don't know if you can see it on the camera here. This will have to be something that we won't be able to see how it truly looks until after it is washed. And if it doesn't come out the way that I want it, I'll just redo it again. That happens sometimes. That's the one of the joys in tie-dye is just making shirts how you want them to look. Sometimes they look how you want, sometimes they don't. It's just kind of, that's the game that we play. Okay, I'm just going to switch those out. This one should be pretty cool. It's funny how you can see the rubber band lines on there too. So this one is a very light bleach pattern. Yeah. Yeah, this is how we can definitely tell there was basically no active ingredient in the OUT White Brite that we used. You can see there was some. It did work a little bit, but not much. So these second two shirts I'm probably going to do again. What's cool with this, so like say you have something like this happen, you can now do the exact same pattern in the opposite direction, and you'll have a mandala pattern. So with some of the ways to get the mandalas is a two-part tie with the spiral, and only a few people I've seen have done that. And then of course you can tie up the mandala pattern as well. Okay, so this one we're going to see the most pattern with. This one actually had quite a bit of the active ingredient. What's funny is this bottle had been left outside for a very long time, but the seal was good. Where the other bottle had been left inside, but the seal had gone bad. So I had good and bad OUT White Brite. So this one, there we go. So this one is real cool. This was the effect I was hoping to get more so with the others. I know it's a little hard to see how it really looks here in this sink, but once we open this, once we wash it out, I'll go over it just a little bit more with you. So I'm going to rinse this out, and then these are going to go in the washing machine on the regular cycle with just a regular detergent. And then if you want to dry them in the machine, in the dryer, you are welcome to. Or if you want to air dry or hang dry, that is all up to you. So however you prefer to wash your clothes is how you can handle these. Okay, so I'm going to go put these in the wash, and then when they are done, I will go over the shirts with you. All right, so all of our shirts are washed and dried now, so we're going to go over these a little bit. Since we are doing reverse dyes, I decided to go over them in the reverse order of what we reverse them in. So this was the last shirt we did. This was the shirt that had the OUT White Brite poured over the top of it after it had already been heated up. And so you can see when we were doing it, we couldn't tell anything was being done at all. It looked like nothing was happening to the shirt at all whatsoever. But now that we've watched it, we can see that yes, it did indeed remove some of the color. So it didn't remove as much as I was hoping for, but we did get an effect here. And the reason why this is so light, my bottle of OUT White Brite, the seal, the last time I had used it, the part that actually seals it had come off. So when I closed it, that bottle was not sealed. And so that bottle was left out to be dealt with oxygen and possibly a little moisture. And that happened to make my bottle go bad. So I will be doing this again with a new bottle of OUT White Brite so that it will be deeper. But the last shirt that I have here did happen to reverse completely. So we'll get to see that at the end. So this is what'll happen if you don't use enough OUT White Brite, or you don't get it hot enough, or your OUT White Brite happens to go bad due to not storing it properly. So do be sure to store your bottle properly if you happen to use it, and don't use it all, because it will last. This last one here, that bottle was just as old as the other, and I even had it outside in the sun, but it was closed properly, so it did great. So here's this first one. Actually, this was the third one. Okay, so now the second shirt that we did, the one that we dunked into it, you can tell there's a few lines that are here, and some of them it reversed quite a bit. So down here at the bottom, it happened to get quite a bit of the OUT White Brite that was active. So it did reverse, but it only did a little bit. And actually the back, we'll take a look at the back here. So the back, basically, about the same. But dunking, so if the OUT White Brite was good, these lines would have just been much brighter. And the more you dunk it in, the wider this line gets and the smaller your black line will get. So now the first one that we did, the one that we put the OUT White Brite powder directly onto the shirt and then poured the hot water on it, that is this one. And this is more about how all of your products, your shirts will look after using OUT White Brite. So this was a good bottle. I barely used any powder on this. On those other two shirts, I used probably 3 times as much powder. And so you see what happens. So this stuff works really good as long as you have a good bottle of it. So go out, get you a fresh bottle, try it out. This, you can do a lot of shirts with the single bottle. And so you can see we've got all kinds of movement in this. It's got sort of a watercolor effect. This is probably one of my more favorite looks for the bleach styles for the OUT White Brite. And like I say bleach just because it does bleach the color, but this is a bleaching without actually using bleach. So this is a much better method. You're not going to get any holes. You don't have to treat this any special way afterwards in order to preserve it. It is now good to go. And if you want, you can even tie this up again and tie-dye it. So, and I may even make a video at some point where we do reverse something and then we tie-dye it. So I'll show you the back of this too. You can see how it worked on both sides. We do have the same image on both sides. And I'm not quite able to tell you which was the top and which was the bottom. Since we didn't actually use colors, it's a little hard to differentiate which was which. We did, but as you can see, by doing multiple patterns, we get, so like one side would be the top and bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. So you can see how this would have been the top, this would have been the top, this would have been the top, this would have been the bottom, this would have been the bottom, this would have been the bottom. So every other line would be top or bottom of the shirt when we put it on there. And we see how we've got like different movements in there. And so by doing it different on the different sides, we end up getting more variance in the pattern. So be sure to click that like and subscribe button for more videos. My name is Nate. Thank you for watching.